In this video tutorial for Grand Prix Race Manager, we will cover how to allow racers to participate in the race, but to exclude them from the standings. Note, this feature only applies to the Pro version of the software and only if you are using time scoring. This tutorial is using version 22 of the software. However, much of what we will cover applies to other versions of Grand Prix Race Manager. So, why would you want to allow racers to participate in the race, but to not show up in the standings? The common scenario is that you have a vehicle that does not fully comply with the race rules, but you still want to let the racer be able to race. Another possible scenario is that you have a racer that really is not a part of a race group, like someone just visiting, but you want to let them participate. Regardless of why, you can let the vehicle run in the race, but not be eligible to win a trophy. To set this up, we need to go to the Software Settings screen. Then to the Standings tab. Check the Be Able to Exclude Racers box. Save that change. Now, on the Registration tab, we now see an Exclude column. You can exclude a racer by checking their Exclude box. The software will ask you to confirm that you want to exclude that racer from the race standings. Note, you do need to also check the past box for that racer so they will be included on that group's schedule. The other way that you can exclude a racer is to edit the racer and check their Exclude box. When ready, you can build the schedule for that group and run the heats. Once racing is done, you can view the standings for that group. Any excluded racers will not be listed in the standings. Let's see how this feature impacts the standings of a group that has already run. First, let's turn off the Exclude feature. Now, let's look at the standings for the US President's Group. We have 10 racers in that group. The number of excluded racers is 0, so we should see the standings for all 10 racers listed, which we do. Let's turn the Exclude feature back on again. Back on the Registration tab, I will exclude one of the racers in that group. I'll exclude President John Adams. Back on the Standings tab, when we will select the US President's Group. Our excluded racer, John Adams, is not listed in those standings anymore. On the right side of the tab, it does indicate that we have one excluded racer. So, with 10 racers in the group and one of them being excluded, we should only see the standings for 9 racers. Note, you can exclude a racer at any point between registration and completion of racing. However, we want to discourage you from disqualifying a racer that had passed your check-in inspection. If a mistake was made and an ineligible vehicle was passed, but later an issue was found with the vehicle, that is something that should be addressed with your check-in process before your next race. If your check-in inspectors passed it, you should let it race. In this video, we covered how to exclude a racer from the standings but to still allow them to race. This gives you some flexibility in running your race, but will help ensure that only eligible racers will win a speed trophy.